Hey, did you know that saying "you're okay" to your toddler after a fall might actually mess with their ability to trust their own feelings? It's a gut punch to realize that the words we toss out in a rush could be shaping how our little ones see themselves, and not always for the better. I've seen it firsthand, and I'm betting you've got a story too. Stick with me, because we're diving deep into 3 phrases you might be using every day that could be doing more harm than good. And I've got better ways to say what you mean that'll build up your kid instead of tearing them down. Let's zoom in on something wild. When we brush off a toddler's hurt with a quick, "You're okay," we might be planting a seed of doubt in their tiny minds. Think about it. How many times have you scooped up your little one after a tumble at the park, dusted them off, and said those words, thinking you're soothing? I've been there, in the middle of a chaotic playground, my own kiddo wailing after tripping over a sneaky rock, and that phrase just slipped out. But here's the kicker. They're not okay. Their knee stings, their heart's racing, and they're looking to us to make sense of it. When we say, "You're okay," we're not just dismissing the scraped knee. We're telling them their feelings don't match reality. Over time, that can mess with their head. They start wondering, if I'm supposed to be fine, why do I feel so bad? I've watched kids, my own included, start to bottle up tears because they think they're supposed to tough it out. And trust me, that silence isn't strength, it's confusion. So what's the fix? Lean in. Say something real like, "Ouch, that looked like it hurt. Want me to kiss it better?" Or, "I bet that scared you when you fell. I'm right here." You're not just patching up a boo-boo. You're showing them it's safe to feel what they feel. I remember one afternoon, my little one took a spill off the bottom step, and instead of my usual "you're okay," I crouched down, looked into those teary eyes, and said, "That was a big tumble. Does it hurt a lot?" The way they nodded, then buried their face in my shoulder, it was like they finally felt seen. That moment stuck with me. It's not about fixing everything. It's about letting them know their hurt matters. And research backs this up. Studies from child development experts show that kids who have their emotions validated early on are more likely to develop emotional resilience by the time they hit school age. Think about that. A simple shift in words can set them up to handle life's bigger bumps down the road. So next time, don't rush to gloss over their pain. Sit with it. Name it. You'll be amazed at how much trust you build in those small, messy moments. Now, let's lay this out straight. A way we talk to our toddlers isn't just noise. It's the blueprint for how they learn to handle emotions, build bonds, and figure out the world. Toddlers are sponges, soaking up every word, every tone, every glance. Their brains are wiring up fast. Did you know that by age 3, a child's brain is already 80% of its adult size? That's why what we say in those early years sticks. I'm talking about 3 phrases that sneak into our daily grind, sounding harmless, but packing a hidden punch. "You're okay," "Use your words," and "because I said so." Each one can chip away at something vital if we lean on them too hard. First up, we've already unpacked "you're okay." It's a reflex for most of us. Heck, I used it for years without a second thought. But it risks shutting down their emotional honesty. Then there's "use your words." Something I've caught myself saying on those long, exhausting afternoons, when my kid's whining instead of talking. Picture this. It's 5 p.m. Dinner's not made, and your toddler's pointing at a toy on the shelf, grunting like a tiny caveman. You're afraid, so you snap, "Use your words." But here's the thing. They might not have the words yet. Their vocabulary is a tiny toolbox, maybe 200 words at age 2 compared to our thousands. They're not whining to push buttons. They're stuck. Saying, "Use your words," can pile on frustration, making them feel like they've failed before they've even started. And don't get me started on because I said so. I've thrown that out there when I'm juggling a million things and my kids asking why they can't wear rain boots in 90-degree heat. It's a quick shutdown, but it kills their curiosity. Think back to when you were a kid. Didn't you hate hearing that? It's like a door slamming on a question you're dying to ask. Over time, that can teach them to stop asking altogether, and that's a loss we can't afford. I've seen it play out in real time. A friend's kid used to pepper her with, "Why?" about everything. Why the sky's blue, why dogs bark. But after months of, because I said so, that spark dimmed. Now at 4, he barely asks anything, and it breaks my heart. The data's clear too. Child psychologists note that kids whose questions are met with explanations, not dismissals, show stronger critical thinking skills by kindergarten. So let's break this down further. For "you're okay," the fix is validation. Name their feelings. Let them know you see their hurt. For "use your words," model the language they're missing. If they're grunting for a toy, say, "You want the red car? I'll get it for you." You're not just solving the moment, you're teaching them how to speak their needs. And for "because I said so," take a breath and explain, even if it's brief. "We're wearing sneakers because it's hot, and boots will make your feet sweaty. Let's save them for rain." You're not caving, you're connecting. I've tried this shift myself. Last week, my little one was dead set on wearing a superhero cape to the grocery store. Instead of shutting it down, I said, "I love how cool that cape looks, but it might get caught on stuff in the store. How about we wear it at home after?" They weren't thrilled, but they nodded. That's progress. These tweaks aren't about being perfect. They're about meeting our kids where they are. Every word we choose is a brick in the foundation of how they see themselves and the world. So let's build something sturdy, something that holds up when life gets tough. Here's a twist that might stop you cold. Telling your toddler, "use your words," when they're melting down isn't just unhelpful, it can backfire big time. I've been in those moments where the day's been a grind and my kid's tired, hungry, and pointing at something with a high-pitched whine that could shatter glass. My instinct? Come on, use your words. But let's get real. They're not holding out on me. At 2 or 3, their emotional wiring is a mess of sparks and short circuits. They feel big things: frustration, longing, exhaustion. But their word bank is pitifully small. Studies show most toddlers have only about 200 to 300 words by age 2, and half of those are nouns. Asking them to string together a sentence like, "I want the blue cup," when they're on the edge, is like asking me to solve a math equation during a panic attack. It's not happening. And when I've pushed that phrase, I've seen the fallout. Their face crumples, the whining ramps up, and suddenly, we're both spiraling. I remember one evening, my little one was tugging at my sleeve, grunting for a snack after a long day at daycare. I was beat, so I sighed, "Use your words, buddy." Their eyes welled up, and the grunts turned to sobs. I'd just made it worse. That's when it hit me. I wasn't helping. I was piling on shame. So I switched gears. I knelt down, pointed to the fruit bowl, and said, "You're hungry, huh? Want an apple?" Their head bobbed so fast, and the tension melted. I wasn't just guessing their need. I was giving them the words they couldn't find. Over weeks of doing this, I've noticed they're starting to mimic me. Last time, they pointed and mumbled "apple" on their own. That's huge. Child development research supports this. Kids learn language faster through modeling than through demands. A 2018 study found that toddlers exposed to descriptive language from parents had a 30% larger vocabulary by age 4 compared to those frequently told to use words. So don't demand what they can't give. Show them. Describe what they're feeling, what they want. Say, "You're mad because the tower fell. Let's build it again." You're not just calming the storm. You're handing them the tools to navigate the next one. Keep at it, even when you're wiped. Those little echoes of your words will sneak up on you one day, and you'll realize they're learning to speak their truth because you spoke it first. Let's hit the heart of this. Saying, "Because I said so," might be the quickest way to end a battle, but it's also the surest way to kill your toddler's curiosity. And the damage can last way longer than you think. Picture this. You're racing out the door, late for a doctor's appointment, and your little one's digging in their heels, insisting on wearing mismatched socks. One bright green, one polka-dotted. You don't have time for a debate, so you bark, "Put on the blue ones, because I said so." They grumble, maybe comply, but what's really happening? You've just slammed the brakes on their why. Toddlers are question machines. By age 3, they're asking up to 400 questions a day, according to child psychologists. That's not just annoying chatter. It's how they build critical thinking. Every why is a tiny experiment, a way to piece together cause and effect. When we shut it down with, "Because I said so," we're not just dodging a sock argument. We're telling them their need to understand doesn't matter. I've seen the ripple effects up close. A few months back, I was at the park with another parent, watching our kids play. Her little boy, barely 3, kept asking why he couldn't climb the big slide. Every time she snapped, "Because I said so." By the 5th round, he stopped asking. Not just about the slide, about everything. He just trailed behind her, quiet, shoulders slumped. It was like watching a light flicker out, and the research is sobering. Studies show kids who face constant conversational shutdowns are less likely to engage in problem-solving activities by age 5, and their confidence in learning takes a hit. Think about your own childhood. Remember how maddening it was when a grown-up gave you no reason, just an order? It's the same for them, only they don't have the tools to push back or process it. Over time, "Because I said so" breeds frustration, even resentment. They might obey in the moment, but they're not learning why rules exist, which means they're less likely to follow them when you're not around. I've caught myself slipping into this trap too. One morning, my kid was obsessed with taking a stuffed dinosaur to the store. I was frazzled, so I snapped, "Leave it home because I said so." The pout on their face wasn't just disappointment, it was confusion. Later, I felt off. So the next day, when they wanted to bring it again, I took a breath and said, "I know you love Dino, but he might get lost in the store. Let's keep him safe on your bed, and we'll play when we're back." They weren't happy, but they got it. That shift mattered. Here's why this is huge. Explaining your reasoning isn't about winning their approval. It's about teaching them how to think. A 2020 study from the Journal of Child Development found that toddlers who receive explanations for rules show better self-regulation by age 4 compared to those met with authoritarian responses. Even if they cry or protest, that's fine. Emotions aren't the enemy. Ignorance is. So when they push back on bedtime, don't default to a shutdown. Say, "We sleep now, so your body can grow strong for tomorrow's adventures." Paint the picture. Last week, I tried this during his meltdown over turning off the tablet. Instead of my old standby, I said, "I know you love your game, but your eyes need a rest so they don't get tired. Let's read a story instead." There was still some grumbling, but they climbed into bed with a book. That's a win. Keep in mind, you don't need a 10-minute lecture. 2 sentences can do it, but those sentences show respect. They say, "I see your question, and I'm not just the boss. I'm your guide." Over months, I've noticed my little ones starting to ask why with less defiance and more genuine wonder. That's the spark we can't afford to snuff out. So ditch the easy out. Give them the because they're hungry for, even if it's just a quick one. You're not just ending a fight. You're building a thinker, a feeler, a kid who knows their voice matters. And isn't that what we're all after? All right, let's lighten this up with a moment that still cracks me up. Because parenting isn't just deep talks and life lessons. It's also the absurd, messy stuff that catches you off guard. So, imagine this chaotic Tuesday morning. I'm trying to get us out the door for preschool, already 10 minutes behind, and my little one decides it's the perfect time to stage a full-on protest over wearing shoes. Not just any shoes. Oh no, they've dug out these clunky rain boots from last winter that are a size too small, and it's a sunny 80-degree day. I'm sweating, juggling a diaper bag and a coffee mug, and I almost let "because I said so" fly. But I catch myself, take a deep breath, and say, "Buddy, those boots are awesome for puddles, but today's super hot. Your feet will feel like they're cooking in an oven. Let's grab your sneakers instead." They stare at me, tilt their head like they're picturing their toes sizzling, and then, get this, start giggling. "Oven feet," they shout, stomping around the living room, pretending to be a chef. I'm standing there, half laughing, half crying, because now we're even later. But they're finally slipping on the sneakers while chanting about hot feet. It hit me then. Those little explanations don't just teach. They turn a standoff into a story we're still laughing about days later. And isn't that the magic of this parenting gig? We're not just raising kids, we're making memories, even in the middle of total chaos. I've started noticing how these tiny detours, taking a second to explain instead of order, end up being the stuff they remember. Like the time we couldn't go to the park because of a storm, and instead of shutting down their whining, I said, "Rain's coming," and we'd get soaked like fish in a pond. Let's build a fort inside. They spent the whole afternoon pretending to be pirates hiding from a hurricane. And now every rainy day, they beg for fort time. It's not always smooth. Sometimes they still push back. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm tempted to snap. But when I lean into these moments, even the ridiculous ones, I see their eyes light up. They're not just hearing me, they're connecting with me. And let me tell you, there's nothing sweeter than hearing your toddler repeat a silly phrase like "oven feet" at the most random times just to get a laugh out of you. So next time you're on the edge, about to shut down their latest wild idea, pause. Spin it into something they can grab onto. A reason, a picture, a giggle. You might end up with a new family joke. And trust me, those are worth every extra minute you're late. These are the bits that glue us together. The stories we'll retell when they're taller than us. So let's make them good ones, even if it means laughing at ourselves in the middle of a shoe war. So here we are, at the end of this raw, real talk about how our words shape our toddlers. Bottom line, ditch "you're okay," use your words, and "because I said so." They might feel like quick fixes, but they can dim your child's ability to feel, speak, and wonder. Instead, validate their emotions. Say, "That hurt, didn't it?" Model the language they're missing with, "You want this toy, right?" And explain your reasons, even briefly, with, "We're doing this to stay safe." These small shifts aren't just words. They're bridges to trust, confidence, and curiosity. Start today, even if it's messy. You've got this. And hey, if you're vibing with these insights and want more real deal tips on connecting with your little one, hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. Your support keeps me sharing. I've got to warn you, videos like this sometimes disappear, so don't wait. Join in now. And I'm curious, which of these phrases do you catch yourself saying most? And what happened when you tried a different way? Drop your story in the comments. I'm all ears.